Guardians, welcome back to the Sinful side of things. I am Mr. Sin, back with some Destiny 2 stuff to talk about. In this video, I want to go over some popular topics that has been going on and community has been talking about. I know we've touched on this a few times. I know the community has touched on this a few times. It's a very touchy subject that's going on right now, and has to do with the power grind and stuff that's going to be getting sunset or sunsetting, and you know, that all the stuff that we've grinded for, that's gonna go away, and maybe it shouldn't go away, and maybe the power grind should be a little bit different. We're also going to be talking about Destiny's response to a Reddit user by the name of Jaffa CXD1, shout out to him, and what their response was to his question on Reddit about the sunsetting of the who, what, why, where's, and when's of sunsetting, and is it going to be viable. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. Bungie listening to players' frustration over armor and sunsetting. After recent Reddit posts, citizens in Destiny 2 approach the sunsetting armor, Bungie addresses the criticism in a brief statement. Bungie says has always been about the pursuit of it, newer optimal gear and loot. However, years on the continual grind have worn down the most dedicated players who previously complained about the game's approach to seasonal mods. While Bungie has taken steps to address community concerns, the developer has still left some users dissatisfied. In one Reddit user complaint, Destiny 2 player Jaffa CXD1 asked the developer, why is sunsetting legendary armor? And the developer actually responded. Recently, Destiny 2 introduced weapon sunsetting, where the effectiveness of older gear will gradually fade over the years. And outside the initial confusing of figure out, what weapons were going to max out their power, some players were not sure whether this sunsetting would affect armor or not. When players discovered that legendary armor would be impacted by Bungie's new procedure, Jaffa CDX1 asked that what was the point. The Reddit user elaborated further by pointing out the legendary armor does not impact the game's balance as much as other items. In a specific example, the complaint claimed that using a stronger helmet from Destiny's 2's second year was no different than using newer armor, and thus weakening it was pointless. The player also noted that the effort and material that go into optimizing legendary armor would essentially go to waste. Right? Bungie's ignoring all the other controversies with sunsetting. Right? What is the point in sunsetting legendary armor? Says this. Seriously, me using a high stat roll helmet from year 2 has no more impact on the stage of the game than using armor from this season. Also, when you consider how many materials I have but wasted in masterworking armor, it really just seems like a needless headache. If anything, it would make more sense to sunset exotic armor. At least they actually have unique perks. Speaking as a solo player whom it took ages to get enhancement prisms, let alone shards. Alright, please reconsider this, he says, okay? As an alternative, he's also suggested that Bungie sunset exotic armor because its unique perks have a larger effect on gameplay. In response, Bungie's community member Cosmo23 promised that the developers were listening to the community's criticism on max power levels with both weapons and armor. Specifically, he acknowledged the pain of investing masterwork materials for nothing and promised that Bungie would report back when it decided what to do. The response to Cosmos 23 comment encouraged Bungie to communicate about its decision, while several people condemned developers' failure to respond to a long-standing criticism or to explain why said sunsetting was necessary. More understanding fans urged the developer to keep weapon sunsetting and reconsider its treatment of legendary armor. Generally, it seems at least some fans would be willing to hear Bungie out if it did explain rationales for Destiny 2's future direction. With any luck, the developer will reach a compromise that will satisfy its player without undermining the gameplay. Because as we all know, every single season we have to start over with the power level grind, and I just think that people are just getting sick of that model that Bungie's got going on with that, right? And players who are taking breaks, they're not wanting to return to the same old content just to boost up their power level. You know what I mean? And who can blame them? Power should be grinded for, but not at a severe extent. For example, the max power level should take a while to get, but the end game stuff, such as the new dungeon, the prophecy dungeon, shouldn't take 60 hours of grinding just to play. I mean, right now it's 1040 recommended. I feel like, 1020 should be, would be better than, recommended 1040, right? I mean, that's how I feel. And I wanted to know, like, should Destiny revert back to the old DLC style content instead of the seasonal style that we have now? You know what I mean? Like, drop a big DLC like the Taken King or Forsaken or whatever, where we would have a new story, strikes, activities with some new raids to do, some new Crucible maps, instead of just grinding for power, to be able to do one new thing, new dungeon, whatever, and rank up the season pass, and some things like the obelisk and bunkers and prismatic recast or whatever, to then have mods not matter next season on the season's armor set that the last mod socket should be able to hold, or seasons mod just for relevance or whatever, instead of hoarding all this armor, right? Bungie wants us to have transmog. Okay, that allows us to look any way we want. So how about transmods to wear whatever we want, right? And be able to reuse those mods wherever we want to on any armor that we obtained it and grinded for. Sunsetting is going to happen. A lot of players are unhappy about that, knowing that the most god roll weapons that we farm for won't matter pretty soon, like the Mountainside, Recluse, Wendigo, Loaded Question, just to name a few. 21. As most of us know, we saw this happen during the Taken King DLC in Destiny 1, but here in Destiny 2, the weapons that are getting sunset were obtained by extensive grinding, and to have them not matter pretty soon hurts a lot, man. I mean, how many of you think that Bungie shouldn't touch the Ritual and Pinnacle weapons? I am one of those people. I do not want my, okay, here's the thing. Let me just say it like this. Those weapons are like exotics. Am I right? I mean, they're not regular legendary weapons. Think about the people who aren't that good inside Crucible and the hours they spent grinding for the Recluse or the Mountainside, for the Revoker, for the Komodo Dragon. Those things are hard to get. They're not easy to get, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they should just make a Destiny 3. Seriously. I mean, where you guys stand with this? I don't know. Anyway, I'm supposed to say this in the beginning of my video, so I'll say it now. I really, really appreciate all the love that I've been getting over these last few videos with the subs, the likes, and comments. I really do appreciate it, guys. Being a very small YouTube content creator, I think it's awesome, man. I hope it keeps up and stuff. And like I said, by September 21st, if I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a Destiny 2 Collector's Edition to Beyond Light. Okay, so make sure you subscribe, like the video and stuff like that. And in order to hopefully I get there, and hopefully I can do the giveaway, because that'd be pretty awesome, right? So with that being said, you guys already know, or if you're new here, if you ain't sinning, you ain't winning. Eyes up, Guardian.